So let's go back to our scene file. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to replace our beginning layered object with the intermediate layered object. Again, I'm just pasting that same gradient using the weight map as a reference, adding it on top of my displacement map, and adding it to my clip map. Removing my polygon size change. Oh yeah, we want to keep that dissolved. Sorry, that's the dissolve that's dissolving out the object in the initial. So now, if we go ahead and excuse me again. I'm going to turn my hypervoxels off for a moment, and I'm going to turn my camera settings down a bit. If we go ahead and we look at how this object looks as it's being damaged thus far, we should be able to see those ragged edges just developing right there, but we still have, at least for our peripherals, for our wings and our cockpit, we should have those damaging effects limited to just those ragged edges. And you can see there, a little bit of clip. I know it's a little bit low res, but you can see the clipping limited to that damage right there. All right, so the final step now to make our explosion a little more interesting, we're going to take that very first layer, the hull of the object, and again, this is color. And I don't know, there's probably maybe 30 different objects, maybe more in there. Different little pieces. And I've made them right there at the center of my 0, center, put them all together. And what I've done is I've created a morph target for this. And it's a really simple thing. All you got to do, we'll just go ahead and make a new one. We'll just call it Explode, because we already have one called Explode Out, and we'll go back and look at that just to see what I did before. And just like we did with the morph target on the spaceship, we're going to grab individual pieces, and we're just going to move them out from center. This might be a little more difficult because there's so many pieces all compacted, but I'm just going to move these straight out in various directions. And you want to, just like we did with the object, you want to move these away from the center as diametrically as possible. You don't want to be going the same distance over and over again. You want to use different distances. And if you're having a hard time seeing it in top view like I am, you can always grab individual pieces in perspective view and then move it out. One thing I want you to notice, though, is that these pieces that I'm grabbing, all I'm doing is I'm translating them. I'm not actually rotating them. I'm not making any deviations to the orientation of the geometry. There's no rotation going on. There's no jittering. And the reason for that is that I want to keep these pieces of geometry and make your rotation linear. And now those objects have just a little bit more turn. Now obviously that's a little bit more than I need. I'm going to go ahead and set that rotation to 90. But if you set different rotations on your, just very slight rotations on your debris morphs, that'll give it just a little bit more interest as well. So they're moving off in different directions from each other. I turn the lens flare off on this explosion light as well, so we can see the geometry a little bit better. So again, now you can see that small amount of geometry moving out. And if you want to make bigger pieces, make bigger pieces. You know, make varying pieces. It's up to you as to what you want to do. But this is a really simple technique to add more life to your explosion. Just add those little pieces of geometry. Just steal them from your spaceship. Put a morph target on them, moving them out from the center. And suddenly you've got a really easy way to create extra damage, extra detail in your explosion.